part two, I suppose. I think something to learn is that minimizing waste in a society that waste is everywhere is just to be prepared. So after work, I took the bus to it's just this little local grocery store, and it's all vegan, which is like amazing, and I'm very privileged to have access to a grocery store that's all vegan. And this grocery store also, I've kind of actually seen it get more and more into zero waste. So I went there to finally get proper strength CBD. I used to get like sodas and chocolates and stuff that the one serving was like what I needed, but it's less waste to just get a little tincture bottle, and it's just easier, so then I always have it on hand. I'm really excited. This is called Dram. It's a vegan CBD brand, and ooh, it's yummy. It's not like terrible, but it actually has like the proper amount of CBD. And while I was there, I saw that they had plastic-free cotton buds, which I'm running out of, and we do use these a lot. They're just very convenient. I know you can omit them in your life if you need, but with our drag makeup and stuff, like we kind of just need cotton buds. So I'm glad now that I have a way to get plastic-free cotton buds. And I got 2 bamboo toothbrushes, but I thought I would just get 2, just be prepared, so then it'll be in my house, and for when I need it, I can just have it. So honestly, preparation and like making sure that you stock up on something like low waste before, because then if you run out of it and you need it the day of, sometimes it's really hard to then get that thing sustainably if you like need it that second. So preparation. Also, something I'm doing right now, you can roast spaghetti squash seeds. So what I'm doing is I want like a little mug cake thing, and I'm roasting the seeds at the same time. So I'm like optimizing my oven because that uses electricity. Things you want to cook in the oven, try to schedule them at the same time. You can just use the oven once instead of twice. Also, through this video series, I have made a sustainable journey Instagram blog, and I think that's a much better format to logging this sustainable low waste, zero waste journey. So I did make that. If you want to follow that, it's just better formatted for me personally on Instagram and just like easier. So to stay tuned after this video, you can follow that if you want to. I'm finally getting around to baking bread because my fiance found a Dutch oven at the thrift store. And I heard baking bread with a lid is better. I didn't want to get those like packets of yeast, and apparently they come in little glass jars. I got this at Walmart. I'm not like condoning Walmart. If you can find it at like a better place than that, do. But I've made bread before. This is my first time ever making bread with yeast. So here's the dough, and I'm just covering it with a clean towel instead of saran wrap like most recipes call for, but I think it should be fine. And I'm going to let that sit for a day. I actually ended up only letting the bread rise for about 8 hours, and now I'm letting it cool on a rack for 2 hours. Bread without yeast, it wouldn't have this crust, and I'm super happy about that. I want to eat it right now, but I gotta wait. Basically, to wrap up this video, I guess the 2 main things were, driving when I didn't use the train or bus, but those were kind of like inevitable. But basically, I ended up going to Trader Joe's twice and during this month, and those were the trips that used the most plastic. Apparently, I keep hearing that they're like gonna stop wrapping their produce in plastic, but it's still in plastic. So basically, if I'm going to get things that are inevitably in plastic, like I did buy some tortilla chips for our chili. The beans were both canned or bulk beans. So if it's in plastic, I go to like a cheap place like Trader Joe's or King Soopers or Walmart or the dollar store. And then things that I can get in bulk, I go to either Sprouts or this local grocery store that is sustainable. And I try to go there and I try to bus there so that I'm not wasting gas there to support a local business. But Sprouts, as far as a chain goes, like, I think it's good. Like, I personally would choose that over Whole Foods because Whole Foods is owned by Amazon, and I don't want to support Jeff Bezos. Even though Sprouts is a billion-dollar company, like, I don't know if the owner is a billionaire. Anyway, I see it as better, and Sprouts, I think, genuinely does try to... I feel like they actually genuinely care, and I've seen an employee, like, scooping stuff into their bulk stuff, and it came in, like, a big cardboard box. Like, it wasn't coming from plastic either, and I do think that they actually have this mission, and they are really, like, into bulk. And anyway, so if I don't get something from the local grocery store, I go to Sprouts for nutritional yeast, oats, beans, rice. I just ate the last one. They have these chocolate covered peanut clusters too that are so amazing. I get things in bulk and then I just put them in upcycled jars that I have. Here is all things that you don't need to like tear or weigh before, so because these weigh essentially nothing. And then so I just bring these into, this is actually a compostable one. Compostable, I feel like I'm watching too many like English YouTubers that say compostable. So these all, you just like put whatever in. I also have Sprouts and the local grocery store I went to were actually really accommodating. So if you own a scale, or you could go to the grocery store and just say, just can you tear this? So the thing is too, it doesn't go by ounces. Most places that have bulk stuff, it goes by the decimal of the ounce. So if this were 8 ounces, it would be 0.5 tear, or tear 0.5. So then they know to take away half of a pound. Like if it were these, and I would weigh it with the lid because you usually do that. And then I just take Sharpie, like if you have a label maker, and you can be all fancy with it. But I don't really care if it's written on my jar, especially if I'm going to reuse them in bulk. And I just write on Sharpie. I do have one that I did use a label maker for. I also I really like that at the local one I go to, they have pasta. I got some bulk pasta there, which I've never seen anywhere else. And then this jar is from Goodwill. And then I also thrifted this jar from Goodwill recently, which will be good for some other bulk thing. But if I do drive somewhere, or just going there in general, I do try to get as most as possible. Like, that's not being crazy and something that would like go bad, even though it's dried food and it doesn't really. But something I don't get too much of in bulk is rice. I used to, not getting bulk, but I used to go to like Indian and Asian grocers and get those like giant bags of rice before I was doing zero waste and stuff. And we got rice bugs. So we do get a considerable amount of rice when I go in bulk. We get it just in one of those bags and then we put it in here. So it is somewhat, but I don't want to get like too much. Adam's peanut butter, which I got from Safeway, I think. Sometimes I do buy things for the contents inside, but I think about the jar because it is better to upcycle than to recycle. Like, recycling is good, but it's not perfect, and I think it should be like the last thing. I mean, the very last thing should be throwing away. And then when I lived in Michigan, I would go to Kroger a lot, and they do actually have a bulk section there. I've never used it. I would probably at places that have bulk section, but like sometimes using these are like a safe bet because you don't have to like tear anything, and they're not, because this just weighs nothing. So yeah, you get charged for it, but it's like not that much. Probably not even a cent. you can't, like, I wouldn't get flour in this, I would get flour in this. I did get flour in this. But these mesh ones, I wouldn't get like any powder, flour, nutritional yeast or anything. But if you're going to a place like Kroger, if it's like a scary place, like you don't know, first of all, just ask. I went up, I'm like, hey, can I tear these things? And then the dude just like wrote on them, like, whatever. But if they say no, just like, when in doubt, just use these. If it's not like a super friendly, like they have bulk but not many people use it, or they just use the plastic bags that they offer, which is like counterintuitive. Biggest thing for me to work on is food. I kind of alternate between sharing the toothpaste that we get in a tube with my fiance, which I always like try to get vegan and cruelty-free stuff. HelloFresh. Hello, the like black charcoal one is the one we mostly get. But I realized that I was using too much baking soda. So sorry, it's coconut oil, baking soda, and if you want peppermint extract, this was $12, but I got this years ago and it like lasts forever. I'm only up to there. It's not essential oil because you're putting this in your mouth, but food grade, like in the spice section. But this is an option, but a lot of toothpaste smells like peppermint. So this, coconut oil and baking soda. I put too much baking soda in my batches and it actually, I think I have sensitive gums. And I'm like, oh no, I was putting too much. Is it even okay to do that? And then my dentist was like, yeah, it's fine. I think you're just sensitive. And I talked to my grandma and she actually puts more baking soda. So it depends. I did a new one where I did more coconut oil ratio and it is much better for me. So it's coconut oil, either a powder tooth scrub or baking soda. And if you would like a flavor, peppermint oil. And then that's toothpaste. And then to make a deodorant, this works, and it's antiperspirant, not just anti-smell. And it is that recipe, more heavy on the baking soda and added cornstarch. So baking soda, coconut oil, cornstarch, if you want. Also a scent, you can put a scent in there. So this, I just put my hand in there and then rub it. It's pretty good. Also, it's good for me. Not everybody would be satisfied with that. That won't work for everybody. I know a lot of people are very sensitive. I also don't go through deodorant like as much as my fiance. She's also very picky with deodorant, so I just make sure that it's aluminum free because aluminum causes Alzheimer's and is bad for you, and I'm actually trying to not get as many canned goods either. I do get canned wet food for my cats, but for us, I'm trying to stray away a bit. But wow, I just make sure hers is aluminum free, vegan and cruelty free, and she likes masculine type smells, so she has been getting Everyman Jack. That is also her shampoo brand, and like if we're getting something that is in plastic, I just want to make sure that at the very least it's vegan and cruelty free. We were making most of our cleaning products, but little one, she does go to the bathroom in the house and sometimes it's just not strong enough or it's like weirdly sticky. So I got some Method, and so it's vegan, cruelty free, and it's recycled plastic, just like Dr. Bronner's. Like, it's made out of recycled plastic, so you're not like technically contributing to the demand of plastic. I still have used like vinegar, baking soda when we can. Anyway, vegan, cruelty free, recycled plastic. If I'm getting store-bought stuff, I like at least try to make sure it follows those 3 things, so then it's like, at least it's that. I hope you learned anything. 5 people that are gonna watch this. Yeah, it's been a time. I know. Yeah. Okay, bye.